Let's talk about something you have to have if you want to be a championship team. It comes down to one thing on the offensive side of the ball. It's trust. We're going to get into the Kansas City Chiefs and what it needs to be in 2022. Coming up right here on RGR Football. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Ryan Tracy. This is RGR Football, Ryan going rogue. And I am rogue today. Dan is on vacation, so I'm handling the film work this week. Something that I always do, but I don't always produce for you guys at this point because Dan has a lot of that on lockdown. I really want to talk about one issue that I think is going to be key for how they take the next step. There's going to be changes to the roster, all kinds of things. We're going to talk about that all season long, all offseason. Draft work has already begun for Dan, I, and the rest of the crew. We are bringing up some new guys as well, so make sure that you're tuned in, like, sub, and hit the bell so you know what comes next. All of you subs, we appreciate you very much. If you'd like to become members, you'll get some extra bonus videos. You can do that by clicking the join button down below. Today, it comes down to a couple of things. And I didn't want to lean on the pull the trigger part. You've seen some analysts do that. I really want to talk about the trust aspect because watching the Super Bowl, I think, gave you some contrast in a part of the game that is still something that Patrick is going to continue to work on. So I want to get into that. It's not easy. It's certainly not something that comes just like that, but it is something that you have to build and you have to continue to push for. So we're going to get started and look at the film that really makes the difference. And this is a play in the fourth quarter against the Bengals in the AFC Championship game that I think really stands out. I'm going to slow it down because I like running things in slow-mo. And I want you to see what stands out to me and what will likely stand out to you as well. In that really tight formation, right? You get all the defense packed in. This is something you see the Chiefs do a lot in the red zone. And I think it's very useful as long as you take advantage of the whole field. We'll talk more about that later. As you see this roll forward, the ball is snapped. Good fake. Everybody's gathered in here. You suck the linebackers up. They're in a pretty good stance. You might be looking to try to deflect the ball. But what you have out here to the backside is Pringle with three guys over the top of him. You have some blocking, staying inside. And the key is right now, Patrick is looking right at McCole and the defender that's coming to place him. Here's the key. If this is Tyreek, I think the ball comes out. And what you'll see is he holds and he holds and he holds. And right here, this guy is beat. You're only going to see my cursor on the stream software. And by the way, this is not live. I am pre-recording this because there's not enough hours in the day to watch film. But this ball needs to be out right now. And I'll show you where it needs to go here in a second. But if it's Tyreek, I think the thing is that it does come out. Here, it does not. Now, McColl's got his head around. He's looking. There's no reason here. There's zero pressure on Patrick to try to do anything. Tyreek is tied up inside. Pringle, again, two guys over here. A lot of zone, not much pressure. This ball needs to be fired right here, right now. And if you're nervous about this guy's break, fine. You have McCole Hardman out there. His speed is nothing. Aim it at the pylon and put a beeline on it. And this is a touchdown. There's no reason to hold this, come off of it, let the defender catch up, and now you're running towards him. You actually run into a point where Tooney loses contain, and there's pressure now. Nobody else is able to get totally free at this point. McKinnon had a little bit. And if you were able to avoid this pressure, you have Pringle streaking across the back. But again, this all comes back to the fact that this terrible outcome is because you didn't have trust to throw the ball when he was beat. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. There's contrast to be had. And that's what I want to show you here next. And this is what you saw from the eventual Super Bowl champions. And Matt Stafford, old hand, obviously a veteran presence, understands windows that don't have to be huge, that he can take what's there and use it. Cooper Kupp, great down the stretch. This is going to be a straight zone. You have a DB, you have a linebacker. Cooper Kupp's not the fastest guy. He's certainly not McCole Hardman or Tyreek Hill, but watch as the play comes out. Stafford gets a read. He takes one quick look to keep off the backside defenders, and now he's coming at it. He's trying to play right into where this is. Cooper's going to stop, turn around, and as soon as he makes his break, the ball is coming out of Stafford down here. There's a linebacker, a yard and a half behind, and the ball is actually drifting towards the open space that another defender's in there. But this ball is coming out because he trusts Cooper Kupp to make the play. As he does, goes down a little bit low. I wouldn't say the ball was low itself, but he was able to cover up a little bit. And literally, as the ball arrives, the defender's on it. But this is what trust looks like. This has to be something that the Chiefs covet going forward. And I think they'll get there. They have to be perceived in working for it. You can't just let it come to you. You have to go out there and build that if you're Patrick Mahomes and this next team. And I treat that as next team being every year there's a new team. And that's really what it comes down to. Now, this is going to be a similar situation. And you've seen all the plays about the first half, third down play and all that. But this is what comes down later for me. When you're trying to win this ball game, yes, a field goal will get you overtime, and that's what happened, and et cetera, et cetera. Win this ball game by showing trust in some of your guys. Now, he comes off, and he's looking at Tyreek. Clearly, this play is meant to go to Tyreek. But as good as he is, when you have a defender with outside leverage and a safety over the top with inside leverage, this defender's back is to him. The only way that you can go this ball to Tyreek is to basically put it right in the middle of the H and let him go get it. But that trigger isn't pulled. And again, Tyreek bent it back out, and this play is over to him here. Now you have two other options. You can try to do the same thing and put the ball low in this gap on the bottom side of the H for Travis Kelce to go get. As Travis makes his cut, he could go low right here. And if that ball is delivered, as we know Patrick can, nice and low, that's a touchdown as well. The other thing that you could do is with Pringle in the back, you could put the ball just up, aim it at the goalpost, and let him go get it. Something I think they're going to have to do more of in 2022. But in the end, he doesn't pull the trigger there, and he doesn't pull the trigger with Pringle now waving his hands. And if you put this ball, again, at the middle of the H up, Pringle's the only one that has a chance at getting it. His vertical is good. He's open. And even right here, you could take a chance, maybe throw it low out here to let him come get it. I probably wouldn't think that that's advisable, but there are options there. The key is he doesn't do any of it. And now the pressure's gotten to him, and he doesn't see Tyreek in the back of the end zone, a place that he's already gotten him to earlier in the game. And that's what leads to this sack that in the end causes you to go into overtime, to have to take that field goal when this game was there to be won just on that play, just on two plays that we've seen here. And again, not to harbor on it, but for contrast, we want to see this again. Now, this is the famous, you've seen it a million times. I've even retweeted it. This is the no-look pass from Stafford and against the same defense in a similar look where you have, I know that there are different places on the field, but when you're playing these multiple zones, you're still only getting a 4-man rush. So you have 7 in coverage. And that's what it comes down to. This is the play where he's going to look as though he's looking at the tight end. He's going to deliver the ball to Kupp again because the tight end's turn around. This defender's charging, and that's what it's pulling. It's pulling that middle defender down so that he can squeeze this ball in, again, with trust. As you see, the window's open, but it's going to close very quickly between these two defenders, and he's got to get the ball in there to Kupp. Now, he has a great arm. It's not a Patrick Mahomes arm. It used to be, but it's still very, very good. And so here you can see the break is already happening for Kupp, and Stafford is looking it in. He's about to deliver the ball, and as it comes out, this window's gotten noticeably shorter, and now the angle that he has to develop it, the angular momentum has to be enough to whip it in there past this defender. And it ends up going the opposite direction thanks to the no-look. Now, kudos to this defender. He did get an idea of where it was going and adjusted back. But because of that trust, he put the ball where no one expected it. And that's what it comes down to. It's a catch. We saw what happened as they go on to the Super Bowl. These are plays that show what I think the offense can become and what Patrick needs to make this offense going forward. At the end of the day, it's about Patrick and what he'll do. It's about getting into a rhythm with your players, getting to the point where you can take those small windows and put the ball in there and have the trust in them. The one that really stands out to me is, again, that goal line where McCole Hardman has the man beat to the pylon, and all Patrick has to do is put it out there. Now, there are a million other things going on there. He's had pressure through the game. He's had to turn around and run. But this is not to point a flaming finger at Patrick, but this is to say that at this point in this offseason, having come off the Super Bowl loss and a tough season and another loss, two losses to the Bengals, but a tough one in the second, where I think you had multiple chances to win that game, you have to take a step back if you're Mahomes. I think there's nothing physical at this point that you can point to being a problem. I think it is just about taking what's there. And sometimes that means coming off of your primary read. Sometimes that means coming off of your favorite receivers, your crutches in Hill and Kelsey. And for one thing this offseason, as much as I'm sure Patrick will train physically and be in the utmost shape, he has to retrain mentally to take what's there, to execute like a scalpel, not like dropping a bomb. And that's what he's done. He's always had opportunities to go over the top. He's always had a way to make the big play. And this is a mental thing, like you saw in the first half, where he took what was there and he executed the ball. As it got down to that last drive in the first half of the AFC Championship game and all through the second half, it wasn't able to be executed. There was always open plays. It's about not liking where they're going. It's about taking what is a short gain at that point when you have to move the ball, and not ignoring options that maybe you haven't built the trust, and maybe there's a way. Maybe the fame has slowed down the off season, so we can't train with the wide receivers as much. So I hope that this leads to an off season that includes working more on just pure and simple passing games with McCole Hardman. Obviously, with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, I don't think that that's much of an issue at this point. And more importantly, by whoever the third weapon is, we're going to have a new weapon in there, and it's going to come back to trust and how you can build that if you're Patrick Mahomes. Not waiting for your opportunity to go deep and just open it up because you have a wider gap. He's got to get more comfortable and take the next step in his evolution in throwing into tighter windows, understanding and trusting his players. I think that will come, and I think that will make them way more formidable in 2022 than they were in 2021, even though they were able to work through their issues and become a very dangerous team. I think he'll also have some more support from the defensive side of the ball so that it doesn't come down to those last-minute drives so much. Now, I'm all for the Reaper coming back. You can grab some gear in the RGR store if you like that kind of stuff. I did some fun designs. I don't need to have him back. I'd like to, because it's a good game to watch, but I don't need to have him back. What I'd rather have is a methodical, surgical, and tempered attack down the field against every opponent. Cold-hearted and villainous. I am so for that right now. Just be the guy that everybody should be scared of, that you should be. And I think if Patrick himself can take that on, I think the offense takes that on. And I think that's key. That is what defines what goes on in 2022 from my perspective. Yes, we're going to talk about all the roster additions and all the changes, how they get more out of the defense and how they get more of the guys that they have now. We're going to talk philosophy about how they're going to get there as well. And I want you guys to check out rogueapc.com. That is Rogue Analytics and Performance Consulting, and that's where we put out all the draft work. We also have some things coming to kind of step it along that way. Some top 10, some rankings. We're working hard for you right now. It's just a couple days after the Super Bowl, and we're going to dig deeper and keep on going. So I'm glad that you guys are here. Thank you for your time. Like, sub, hit the bell if you're new. And if you're not, well, hey, you know what to do. We'll be back. Seth and I will be live on Thursday night as always. And if you have not been here before, we are live every Monday night and Thursday night, 6 p.m. Central, answering questions, going through our takes and how this team returns to another Super Bowl. That is the goal. Appreciate you guys taking the time. I'm going to be back tomorrow night with Seth. That's really the normal process around here. So you all have a good one, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.